Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. Our campaign is Masks of Nyarlathotep. It was written by Larry DiTilio, Lynn Willis, Mike Mason, Lynn Hardy, Paul Fricker, and Scott Dorward, and it's available from Chaosium. Our game master is Morgan Llewellyn, and this is episode 31. Our recap will be given by Brian Daly as his character, George Charles. So without any further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Brian?
Chaplain? Last time I wrote you was, before I went off on this excursion. It's been quite the trip. I've been beat to hell, stabbed, burnt. Spent almost a week out in the African jungle. And that's been the good bits. I'm not sure how much longer I can keep up with this cockamamie. What would you call this? It's crazy. It's insane. But we started out from our ship, a party of 5, and we lost one on the train ride. We gained another, a family member of the one we lost. And then we spent some time in Nairobi, heading out, gathering intel. And then we decided we'd make like heroes and run off to the mountain and stop a cult. And the things we heard, they were kidnapping people and children. Well, it made me not. It made me think that, well, we were on the righteous path and we couldn't fail. But shit hit the fan hard. I'll spare you the details. Only 2 of us made it out. Mr. Fox, his vacant expression, still, I can still see it. And the sounds, they echo. They're only echoing in between my ears now, but they don't stop. I'll send you another missive shortly. Tell you where you can meet us in Australia, I think. Yeah. I think I need to get off this ride. Your friend, George.
All right, so it's George, Henry, and nobody get on the first train that they can find to take them back to Mombasa to get on a ship to go to Australia. At the ticket office at the port of Mombasa, you are approached by a well-dressed man. He has quite a valise with him, quite a large deal of luggage. And he kind of looks at you with a bit of a recognition.
Are you, by chance, friends of Octavius Fox?
Who's asking?
Mandrake Turtleton, a friend of his from Miskatonic University. Is he here?
Just to clarify, would Fox have told us about Mandrake?
I thought he's mentioned.
You
him a
were
number of
told
times.
you contacted the
That's right.
lawyer
Yeah.
Okay.
in New York, and he
Yeah.
told you to look for.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because otherwise I'd be like, yeah. Oh, right.
It's a trap.
Yes, Mr. Turtleton.
Good, because I'm looking for him. I've been traveling, trying to catch up with you all, but I stopped receiving any kind of missive from him in the last week.
Please, my name is Nobody McCormack. This is my associates Henry and George.
Mr. Slayton, I'd heard that you were in an accident. I can see.
Yeah, it was more than just an accident.
Listen, it's not safe to speak freely
Of course.
on the dock here. So let's get aboard, get to our quarters, and we can fill you in a bit better, Mandrake.
I feel as if something's happened. We'll talk on board.
Yes.
So before you get on the ship, I just have to ask, where in Australia would you like to go?
So did we?
If you can recall back to the clues you've obtained about it so far.
Well, actually, we did get something recently. Did you send that on the Discord, Morgan, or the email?
I emailed it. So back in New York, the previous investigators, since none of those who were present for that meeting are still alive, there was a visiting professor from Sydney, who was talking about the cult of the sand bat.
Right.
Oh, Cowles.
He was giving a series of lectures. Yes.
Professor Cowles.
Yep. Anthony Cowles.
Wouldn't Perth probably be the first? Isn't that the closest to Africa?
So Perth.
Coming across.
Aboriginal. Well, they could be, anywhere. West, somewhere west of Australia. The songs. Port Hedland. Yeah, well, because I did say that I would go through Fox's stuff because I went through all his paperwork and things, so I would have possibly come across this scrap of paper.
So
where's Port Hedland?
So Derby. So major ports, right? So you get like Darwin. You have Perth, which you mentioned.
Darwin's up at the top. I bet you that's probably where we would probably go across to India and then down Singapore, and maybe Darwin would be the first stop.
Perth's on the other end at the bottom.
Right. I just don't know how they would get there.
Yep. And then Sydney is in the southeast. So it would be a matter of
Sydney and Melbourne are the farthest away. Brisbane.
Once you reach a port, you can take. There are boats that go around the coast.
So
possibility of chartering planes.
Which one would we have wanted to go to based on the stuff that we had yesterday? Oh, I printed it.
Well, God, what is the capital of Australia at that time? Would it be Sydney?
Don't know.
So. Of somebody that this team of investigators have met before, or at least in this context, is based out of Sydney.
Yeah, in the
temple in Egypt, there was a red gem on the map that was in the middle of Western Australia.
Yeah,
within the continent itself.
Okay, right. Where's Dom? Because he's in Australia, isn't he?
Correct.
Yes, the next Cabrera. Well, where you guys decide to land, he can travel to meet you. It will take time for you to cross the ocean.
Let's go to Sydney, because I feel like that's going to be the best hub to be able to charter a plane, and then I can fly us to wherever we need to go.
Okay, but we're going all the way around to the farthest end of Australia. In that case,
yeah, but then it could. Yeah,
I'm not gonna say no to a nice, relaxing cruise.
well, Henry's still not fully healed either. I don't think me and George.
I'm
are
mostly
either.
healed. I should have just 1 hit point to go right now.
and I'm actually thinking more along the lines of where would the boat go. I don't think the boat would go all the way around to Sydney and park. It would probably hit at Perth or Darwin or something along the way.
At first, but they still continue.
Yeah, if we're going to continue.
The bulk, yeah.
If you want Sydney, Sydney works. It just takes longer.
But yeah,
And you were talking about
But
flying.
Henry-
We could go into Perth and then you could fly us.
yeah, yep. Well, Perth's at the bottom though.
But that's directly across from us, from Africa.
Right. Okay, that's why you wanted to go there. Yeah, no, all right. We'll go to Perth. Dom can meet us there, and we can charter a plane.
Great.
We find Dom
and Henry,
standing- I'm sorry.
I was going to say, Henry, when we calculated your hit point recovery, that is going to be your level once you reach Australia. So at this point, you're still pretty injured.
Yeah, because it's one a week until I get to half damage. Yeah, got it. Cool.
Capital of Australia is Canberra.
Canberra.
How many?
Yeah.
How many weeks is the trip to Perth?
The trip to Perth is about a week, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's probably not a luxury liner.
No.
So I'm
This is not
Dag
very
nabbit,
popular
I left my
outfit.
luggage back in Africa. We need to go back.
No,
And there's
no
another
White
hit
Star
point.
line.
And another hit point.
Yeah,
So-
actually, as it turns out, the closest port by the look. I mean, to be fair, Port Hedlands is quite literally a port. But Perth is the biggest major city. So, good choice.
We'll probably be assuming, this is up to the GM, of course, but we'll probably be assuming that there's things available in each one of those.
That's a good point,
What,
yeah.
Tom? What do you think this is?
Call of
Yeah.
Cthulhu.
Well, it's not Bangor.
It's not like I have a book that has a list of all the cities you might go to and
Oh,
what happens to you there. What are you talking about? I know
But you
nothing
can
of
just
this.
walk across Australia, right? It's just a little round.
Oh yeah, it's
island.
fine. Tiny, really tiny. I hear sometimes they call it New Zealand. It's a fun second name they have for Australia.
I mean,
Can't you ride
it does get
kangaroos?
stretched. It does get stretched out on the flat maps.
But you can ride in the pouches of the kangaroos. And they can-
That's right. Yeah, you get it in a pink
Yeah.
kangaroo pouch, and it just hops.
Ooh,
Across.
you
Yeah,
know,
or just ride an emu.
Mm-hmm. Very friendly.
all right.
Can we make Zane squirm anymore, or we move on?
So Perth.
Yep.
So, I assume on the voyage over there, you fill in a turtle tin. On
Yeah,
some
we,
of
uh,
the-
Well, and I
Right,
already know a great deal. Now,
We tell
So-
them Fox is dead, obviously.
yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
not dead, but lost.
that's a terrible shame. Obviously, the things that you've been dealing with are pretty awful.
To say the least.
Well, I hope that my knowledge comes in handy as we go. Not sure. I'm not quite the
Speaking of your
rifleman that
knowledge,
you might be. Yes.
Turtleton, what exactly is it that you do?
Well, I'm a rare book collector, and I've worked with Henry Armitage at the library at Miskatonic. I was familiar with Fox, of course. He sent me a whole heap load, if you will, of items to go over. He's been sending me stuff ever since he started this little adventure. We're going to have to open practically a museum for all the artwork he sent to his own home.
If it's the artwork that they told us about, I don't think we should put that on display.
Well, it's quite disturbing, yes.
Yes.
But I sometimes feel that you can diffuse these strange things by making them common. It's the fear of them being so forbidden that makes it so dangerous. For instance, there's quite a few tomes that he's sent back. Some of them I'd already read, some of them I hadn't read, but I perused through them, and one just has to take one good look at them and go, not going to.
Right.
It sounds like his folly may have been that he played around with magic too much, and as my experience, magic is not a good thing at all.
But one thing to really understand, I'm not sure if Fox expressed this to you, that this is not an idle endeavor. What we're encountering is spreading and growing and is not going to stay content just staying in their small space. They mean to do humanity wrong.
Yes.
We've already lost 10 lives.
It's sometimes it's difficult for me to separate reality from academia, but the truth is it's not the first time that this crawling chaos, this Nyarlathotep, this dark pharaoh, has been fiddling with humanity. I'm hoping that the most you'll be able to do, we'll probably all die, but we'll probably be able to at least throw him off for a bit.
So you actually have heard this name outside of what Fox has expressed to you? Yes,
outside of it, as I say, I'm very well read. Of course, it's mythology, and Fox was claiming that you've actually encountered it directly. Whatever it is, it seems to like screwing with the human race, probably before it eats us all.
Do you know anything about what we're about to walk into? The cult of the Sandbat, and
I wanted to do some research on it, but the only thing I could come up with was these references to a. Let's see if I can pull it up. Let's see. A fellow named Cowles.
Yes, yeah, he was the one that was doing the talk on them. I believe Fox met with him even briefly in Arkham. All we know is that we need to head to Port Headland, and a name connected with that is Arthur McQueer.
Arthur McQueer, yes. Yes, it's all, there's a lot of mythologies out there, and some of them are, you can assume that some of them are based in something factual. The sand bat and the rainbow snake. But that's about all. I probably don't know any more than you do at this point. It's not something you can easily research.
Once we get to Perth, I'm going to try and charter a plane for us, or some form of transport.
You're a
might
pilot.
be worth it might be worth if some of us go and maybe try and do some research at the local library or something in Perth. There must be some way of the university.
I've never been to Perth. Is there a university there? Would they have a substantial library?
The University of Western Australia is in Perth.
We can try that.
There's also a significant a university in Melbourne, I believe, but that's clear across.
It's a pretty big hike. I mean, I could fly us there once we've got the plane sorted, but it is a it's the other side of Australia.
Yeah, that's a tremendous amount of distance.
Well,
The
I mean,
But as you said, if they're based on myth, you might be able to find the myths and research the myths, and that might be able to assist us.
it's probably more likely to find some research on them there in Australia itself. There's damn little in Miskatonic, and they have a very extensive occult research. We might. My recommendations are always to find as much information as we possibly can before we go in and do anything. I think you may have learned some of that the hard way.
Exactly, we have. We shouldn't have been at that bloody mountain, that's for sure. But yes, I agree. Like, do a look into the Sambat, look into this Arthur McWare fellow, see what we can find out about him.
I'll tell you one thing that disturbs me more than anything else. And that is that all of these cults seem to be connected in some way. I mean, you expect to find witches in Salem doing things, and you expect to find, other cults in other places, the Witchy Grub tribe doing this and that. But these all seem to have some strong connection to one another.
Well, it's true, because we've encountered the Bloody Tongue, the Black Pharaoh,
all of them.
Sorry?
All of them seem to be tied, including the expedition a few years ago you made to was it Peru?
Yes. Well, none of us did, but the original party that started this, they
that's right.
They went there.
I remember Fox and Frederick chatted about that.
Fox told me about that. Yes.
But
what's going on? That's what I want to know. Is what's
Henry,
going on?
When you were in England, there was talk about the guy there stole something from the group in Egypt.
Gavigan. Oh yeah, that's right. What was his name? Yeah, I recall that. I vaguely recall that.
Was that the fellow in
here's
Egypt?
The other thing we've got to keep in mind is we left the cult intact in Egypt. We weren't able to really take any of them out. So,
well, in a way, you've left the cult intact everywhere you've gone. You've killed the leader, but then somebody steps up to become a leader.
We did some pretty good. Well, they did some pretty good damage in New York and in England. Not without the loss of lives, unfortunately, on our side, but they dealt a blow. But it was really Egypt that was the turning point. That was when the cult started to overpower and get the foot up on us.
I think that we need to try to figure out what they're up to. What's the connection between them all, and why are they all? Why was Jackson Elias, a man I never met, why was he involved with all of these people? And why were they all involved with one another?
Is it? So the one we met in the temple, George. No, George wasn't there. It was me and Henry. That was Nyarlathotep.
Yeah. That was identified.
What if? Because there was the Brotherhood of the Black Pharaoh, which were the ones in England, and the ones in Egypt. They were following the same cult. What if this Nyarlathotep fellow is this Black Pharaoh?
Oh, I think that's a good guess. Yes.
Yeah, it does seem like they are connected in sort of an underlying way.
But then, as you say, this woman in Africa who started this entire expedition for the Carlisle in Weru, she was praising the Bloody Tongue. that was the one she was. That's who we've just encountered in Africa,
Yeah.
right?
That's right. The bloody tongue. This is, yeah.
Yeah, and they were also the ones that that our original compatriots dealt with in New York with the bloody tongue.
Gentlemen, it might sound ridiculous to you, but I do believe that there are things that we don't understand, and things that are out there, things that are malevolent. And I've been convinced by some of this that there is an entity, a thing, we don't know what it is, calls itself a god, and it's behind all of these. I don't believe it's a god. God's a silly idea, but it's something alien and malevolent that is taking great pleasure in bringing mayhem.
I think you're onto something. I think it's sort of like different cultures have different names for the same thing. So what if, as you say, this Black Pharaoh it's the exact same thing as the bloody tongue, and it's the exact same thing as the Nyarlathotep or the sand bat, whatever we're going in. What if it is the same thing, and the different cultures worship it and so on and so forth in a different way?
Yeah.
I think that that's very possible. Of course, it's also possible that we'll run into things that are just mythology. But more important than to identifying it is to identify what the hell it's up to.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it
there's
trying to do?
There's something we haven't told you, Turtleton. And this is probably another quite large hurdle that we're going to have to deal with. It's definitely a factor. Once we get to Australia, you're going to meet a man who goes by the name of Cabrera.
I've read a great deal about the Cabreras. They're quite an unlucky family.
Yeah, we're obviously on our normal mission, but that mission seems to have coincided with wiping their entire family out.
My guess is your Cabrera in Australia has gone there because he doesn't want to be anywhere near any other Cabreras. It's like putting lightning in a bottle.
Well, I just hope he's smarter than his cousin. His cousin couldn't speak English, which was tiresome.
Well, their intelligence doesn't have anything to do with it. They're under some sort of curse, if you believe in that sort of thing.
But if we do get ourselves into some sort of situation where there's a gunfight or something like that, just don't stand near him, okay?
Agreed, yes.
Yeah. 6 meter distance. Let's social distancing from...
I wouldn't suggest that you use him as a shield either.
No. He'd be a terrible shield.
Well, good luck to us all.
Amen.
So during your voyage to Perth, what are each of you up to on the ship?
I'm reading.
Yeah,
Keeping a keen eye out for anyone that looks like they're being a bit too nosy about us. Subtly,
as
though.
I said, I was studying the Fox's books and manuscripts and everything, so I was up to date on everything.
Cleaning my 38 revolver, my M1911, and both knives.
And George?
Resting as best I can, and if I need a short stint of exercise, I'll go out and see if anyone's fishing off the deck or cast a line or two myself.
Okay, so George is spending his time fishing and relaxing. So you get to regain, just say 1d6 sanity, as you use this time to clear your head. Henry, you are so paranoid that you probably are on the border of actually losing a point of sanity, scouring every corner of the ship for suspicious individuals.
Well, not scouring. I'm just keeping an eye out, making sure no one's poking their nose into our stuff while I'm resting.
Scouring with a Brillo pad. Ship is spotless.
And Mandrake hasn't lost any sanity.
Down a point.
And
Shit.
nobody.
Yeah.
Which of the books in your possession are you reading?
What did Fox have?
The Necronomicon.
It depends on if you can read the Arabic.
Oh yeah, I can't. What can I read? I can read Latin and English. What are my choices?
I don't know. I think most of the other. Didn't we have a couple of other books, but we sent those back?
Yes.
Yeah.
You only kept hold of the Necronomicon.
In that case, since I can't read anything, I'd probably just sleep and just kind of prepare, kind of work out a game. I might bring up some maps and kind of work out like how I'm going to fly, the best way to get stopovers and that kind of thing, to fuel up if I need be and that kind of thing.
Okay. Spend your time doing that. You can recover 1d4 points of sanity.
Alright. 2.
Okay. And with that, you arrive in Perth.
Oh, there it is. Hello, Perth.
Why couldn't we go someplace that's got bloody better temperature? God.
Hey, well, you are here. You arrive on June 1st, so you're heading into Australian winter. So it's not as miserably hot as it might otherwise be. Still terrible, though.
Yeah.
Where are the kangaroos?
They'll be in the outback.
Oh.
You might see occasionally somewhere on the outskirts.
There is a zoo in Perth.
Oh my god.
I've seen them in a zoo. It's like seeing a bear in the zoo. Nobody wants to see a bear in the zoo.
All right. Let's find a hotel. I think we're not going to leave Perth straight away, so we might as well try and find some digs. And we're going to find. I'm going to look out into the crowd once we get off the train station, and I'm going to look for anyone that might appear Spanish and look kind of similar look to any of the Cabreras that we've already met.
Before we get off the ship, though, I say something. We have a small advantage. Unless there's somebody on the ship who's been watching us, I'm a total stranger to this. We could only meet in secret, and I could remain separated from you.
Though they did see us, they possibly saw us in Africa together.
Possibly.
When you came to us on the. Oh, look! Look, we're very paranoid. We're assuming that they're watching us at all times.
I was just going to say we might have a little bit of an advantage if I'm a secret, but
we did try that in Africa. We split up the party and had Cabrera and Charles kind of keep their distance from us, but it didn't pan out.
All right, never mind.
It was pretty.
I'll stay close to you. You look like you can fight.
Me?
Yes.
I'm okay.
And Mr. Slate, he's got a gun.
Yes, he does.
So to get to Perth, the ship actually docked at the port of Fremantle. And from there, waiting for you, leaning up against a car, you find the next Cabrera.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh, hi. Good day, gents.
Thank Christ. Oh, Jesus.
I'm here for Fox. I guess.
Well, we're that party. Unfortunately, Mr. Fox didn't survive.
Ah, damn it. Well, I have my Jeep. I don't really trust the public transport around here.
That's very wise of you. Yeah.
By the way, he has. You will see there is a dead roo in the back of his Jeep, just hidden under. You'll just see.
That's lunch. Are you based in Perth?
I go wherever I go. I
Okay.
travel around a bit. I don't have one set location. I spent a lot of time with the Aboriginal people, and
Well, that
I
can
do a
come
bit
in
of
handy.
hunting.
Can you speak any of their languages?
I have managed to learn a bit of a native sign language.
Okay, that
They
could be handy.
speak, yes, and I know some of one of their dialects. It's a bit complicated, but I know a little bit.
Well,
Oh, I'm Domingo Cabrera, by the way. You can call me Dom.
Dom, nice to meet you. Henry Slayton.
Captain
Nice
Nobody
to meet you.
McCormick.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Well, I know my way, especially around the wasteland, as I like to call it. So I can act as a little bit of a tour guide for you gentlemen.
I
But
think we're thinking of heading into Perth and finding some digs, and then we want to possibly go look at the library or the university or something along those lines. And I need to charter a plane.
plane, you should be able to find someone. You get a few planes around here. He looks up nervously, like. But yes. Anyway, I can take you to somewhere. It's probably not the best place to sleep, but it will be a nice enough. You won't
That's
find
fine.
many good hotels or that. Well, in my circumstances, anyway. I'm not one for fancy digs.
Fair enough. So we'll all pile in his Jeep. And
Is there room with the dead roo?
Just be careful. You can just move it to one side. It'll be fine.
I guess
All right.
Mandrake's sitting in the front.
Is how long has the kangaroo been dead?
Probably a couple of hours, maybe.
Oh,
He's
okay.
been
So
waiting
it's still nice, soft, and squishy. So
Yeah.
I'll lean up against that and use it as padding.
There's no bulls here in this part of Australia, are there?
Well, I came into contact with one once, and he pulls up his shirt and shows you a scar.
Dear God.
Yes.
It's very dusty.
They call me the Lucky Cabrera, you see.
Ha! 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 Ha!
Well, let's get it over with, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm keeping an eye out. I'm looking around, making sure nothing
Yeah.
bizarre.
So I think Mandrake's in the front, as far away from the roo as he can possibly get, and me, Henry, and George are in the back seat.
It's still very dusty.
Yep. Yes. So
I
So a
grunt
lot of the
very
stretches-
audibly with every bump in the road. Because I'm still very
most
hurt.
of the 17 miles.
So, Mr. Cabrera, are you a criminal?
No. I'm actually a professor of folklore from the Miskatonic University.
You are?
Yes, I came here. I've been here 2 years, maybe now.
I thought that you looked a little familiar. Because I'm at the library half the time.
Yes, I spent many a time there for.
Oh well, that's good to know that somebody's from Miskatonic is here as well. I'm glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you too. But yes, this place. I see. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit grufty. don't stay in one place for very long.
Living in a place completely surrounded by criminals, so I guess you have adapted.
Yes. When you get passed over bugs in the wasteland, it becomes a charming place.
I'm sure.
I haven't been across to that cursed island across the way. I think they call it Zealand or something like that.
Huh. I believe Mr. George has fallen out of the car.
Oh, yes. Probably in the Rugas.
We still have like about 30 some odd thousand of our 40,000 that we were given as a group collectively, correct? Something like that?
You have
yeah,
not,
and
you
we're
have not
just-
touched the funds yet.
Yeah, because
Okay, that's good.
Fox was paying for everything.
So we still are well funded, even with Fox not with us in
Well, it
this.
depends.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
Fox leave all of his money to us?
It wouldn't. It would be months and months before it went through probate and
Yeah, that's
all
true.
of
Yeah.
that anyway. But
All right, so yeah, as I said, we'll get to whatever wall kind of motel dive place that Dom wants to go to.
Yeah, so you find this little rundown place on the outskirts of Perth, and when Dom pulls in, you are the only ones in the parking lot out front.
oh, they have a parking lot.
From a protective standpoint, if we were to say have a similar occurrence as to what happened to us in Egypt, would there be much protection in this place?
Against fire monsters that come down from the sky, no. That's going to be true of everywhere that you stay or could possibly stay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there a pool? Sorry.
No.
I was
I'll
just thinking
jump
more
in
of
the
like
pool.
a more populated could be.
Is there a
possibly-
fallout shelter?
I don't
Fallout
think
from
that
what?
Yes.
I don't think the fire monsters care if there are people around.
All right, let's get
Oh.
in. It's
Here we are, gentlemen.
Well, and I hope that we took, care on the way here to make sure nobody was following us.
Yeah, I keep an eye out.
So
I probably took like a
I-
back
There,
bit.
there,
and-
there's a lot of traffic going between Perth and Fremantle. But as far as you can tell, there's like no cars follow you down these roads to where you are now.
now we're going to need at least 3 rooms, I think.
well, I don't
always
take
gonna
up
have
too
a
much
switch.
space, and I'm no trouble. I read.
I will just
If
warn
they'll
you,
let
gentlemen. These will be bare bones. This isn't like your fancy hotels.
I was in the war, so
Yeah,
that's fine.
trenches.
Yeah,
You,
Yeah,
you-
it's not a trench.
this is damn sight luxury, my dude.
Good,
So-
good.
I'll make quick familiarity with the surroundings of out back of the hotel, any alleyways. Like, I just want to be familiar with where we are situated.
So where you are you're isolated from where it kind of heads off out into the desert. There's a lot of new construction at Perth that you kind of passed, so suburbs are sprawling out everywhere at this point. So you're kind of nestled in this small little business area in a suburb. So lots of houses, lots of small businesses.
Well, the first order of business is to get the rooms in order. If it needs cleaning, I'm going to clean it, and if I need to be able to hang up my clothing and carefully put it into any drawers that are there in the proper order. Because an orderly room is an
What
orderly
time is
mind.
it?
It's cleaning
At
time.
the time, well, you find, Turtleton, that your room consists pretty much of a bed, a small little table, and a wardrobe.
Is the bed well made, or does it need to be taken apart? And I don't mean literally, I mean the bed sheets. They need to be nice. You should be able to spring a coin off of the...
Yeah, they're probably not in that condition,
They are now.
but you can, yes, they will be. They will be very soon.
I'll do
Oh,
that
and-
to everybody's bed.
You arrived off the ship in the morning, so it's probably early afternoon by this point.
All right, so probably not much point in heading into town now and doing the university and all those sorts of things. Let's rest up after our journey, and then we'll head out bright and early in the morning. We'll head out back into main Perth, and we can we need to decide who's going to do what. So we Dom and Turtleton, just so you guys know, we have a rule: we don't go anywhere by ourselves.
Probably wise.
Yeah, we always go at least with one other person. So, who wants to come with me and organize the plane and supplies and all that kind of thing to go out? And who wants to go with Mandrake to the university and possibly do some research into what we might be going up against? I think probably Dom, that's a good call for you if you do folklore.
Yes, I could do that, but I also might be a bit handy helping you as well with the supplies.
See, you said organized, and I really like to organize things.
But that might be more use at the, I have popped in every so often, so.
That doesn't matter. I'll reorganize afterwards anyway, so.
Well, I can drop people off wherever they need to be, but I'll go with Mandrake then. To be
Henry, George, what would you guys like to do?
Well, I'm not sure how much I can lift right now.
All right, you go with Mandrake and Dom and give them back up, and Henry, you come with me with the
I'll
plane
head
and the
with you.
supplies.
Nobody. Yeah.
All right.
Is there a place to get a bite to eat around here? Does this hotel have a little
that's
cafe?
yeah. We're having
Yes, but from what I understand, they pile all the food onto the same plate.
I don't know if in Australia, I don't know if they did have because I don't know if they did have roadside. But
there's a kangaroo in the back.
There is my room, yeah.
What? Have a kangaroo
Is there a
burger?
Texas Roadhouse grill around here?
Don't have a kitchen in the...
I have my
room.
roux and I have my cooking utensils. I can cook you up a nice roux steak.
Yeah, I'm
That-
ready
that-
for a meal right about now.
That could be nice.
All right.
I'll help you. I'll help you set up the fire and the spit and everything.
Take a quick shower and then meet you down there and help prepare.
Do we dig a hole in the parking lot?
Did we check in with anyone, or did
Mostly
we
dust.
literally just like park up and go to a room?
No, you would have checked in to get additional
Look,
rooms.
if you don't check in,
They
then
wouldn't.
Norman Bates don't know you're there.
Isn't cooking the roux going to take a while? Perhaps you should stay and cook. Mr. Slayton could come with me.
Well, we're
Where
not
are you,
going.
Where are you going?
To the library.
We're doing that tomorrow.
Oh, I'm
We're
sorry.
going bright and early tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, then, what were my choices? Can I come and help organize?
You can organize the organs.
So today, all we're going to do right now is we're going to unpack. Well, not unpack, but rest up a bit, find some food, and then tomorrow bright and early, you're going to go to the university with Dom and George, and me and Henry are going to go organize the plane and the supplies.
Yes, I will drop Henry and nobody off at a location that will be central for them. So.
All right. All right. Then I know what I'm going to do.
Gonna
Feels
read.
good to get these bandages finally off
Yeah,
completely.
let's take a look at. Look, I'll probably have a look at Henry's and George's wounds and a bit of my own as well, just to kind of see how things are coming along.
Yeah, I'm gonna cook up. I'm gonna sort out my roux and make sure it's all nice and good to go. And I've got some potatoes that are left to one side that I had in the back. I'm gonna make some mashed potatoes in my little pot. I'm a very
Now, when you say cookaroo, is that with 2 O's or an X?
Ah,
Because
Yeah.
we could probably do both.
Well, we can do both.
yeah, you can use this. Being a good Brit, I always carry some of this with me, and I pull out of a thing of brown sauce. This has been traveling with me since we left England.
It's probably been
they
a
didn't take it
little,
off your person.
lesson since your stint in Kenya.
It stayed
Yeah,
with
just
you
sitting
in
there
the cage.
in prison in Kenya,
Yeah.
just drinking his brown sauce.
All right, so
Tomato
So
sauce.
you guys cook up your nice homemade kangaroo meal, and the rest of the night passes uneventfully. You are left completely undisturbed.
Oh, it's pretty gamey, isn't it?
it was delicious.
It
Yeah.
doesn't taste like chicken.
You haven't tried sage-fed deer, have you?
Beer?
Deer,
Oh,
sage-fed deer. You know what sagebrush looks like?
yeah.
Yep. You know how
Actually, I
do you know how
have.
they smell?
No.
Well, they smell awful, and sage-fed deer tastes exactly like that
Oh.
smells. So no,
Oh.
this ain't gamey.
Well, gentlemen, I hope you like that. That's kind of what I eat and various other things around here. So.
All right. Well, let's rest up. How long a drive is it into the main part of Perth?
20 minutes.
Okay. Let's head out pretty early. What do you guys reckon? Up at 6.
Well, nothing's going to open until perhaps 9. How long
Right.
is it going to take us?
20 minutes to get in there. I just thought like the early bird catches the worm. But that's all right. If you guys want to leave at 9, that's okay.
The
Yes.
university library, its hours are not going to be quite so extensive. Most of the students are. June is a kind of between semesters, but it'll be open probably around 11.
Did anybody bring any toothpaste? Oh, jeez.
No.
You know, I think I left mine in Kenya.
I'll have to see
I've
what I
got
can
I've
do.
got this
It's
paste
probably
I've been
not
using.
on the. Yeah, that'd
It's
work.
all right.
I have a little pot of random paste that I've been using. You can try this. I don't know what it is.
It's quite all right.
Man gave it
I'll
to
make
me.
do. Let's see if I can find some
Like
bacon.
actual
Well, it's
actual paste, like Elmer's.
Oh no!
What's the
it's like
date?
a,
Sorry?
it's like a
The
meaty
1st of
paste.
June, correct?
Yeah,
The
June,
date is June 2nd.
Yeah,
now.
June 2nd.
Second.
What,
Yeah, no,
19?
wonders.
school's still in Australia.
there you
University's
go.
still in Oz. They
That's
don't go
right.
on
Seasons are all sorts of whack. in
Yeah.
the Southern Hemisphere.
So
So
the
at that point,
holiday
the
doesn't
the
start
university
till the
library
26th.
would. Well, there you go. So the university library that would be open pretty early in the morning for all them students.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, New Zealand and Australia have really weird scheduling compared
Yeah, you
to
people being in
everyone else.
another hemisphere, what the heck?
Yeah, I know, right?
Get your seasons right.
All right. Well, yeah, as you say, so Don was going to drop me and Henry somewhere central Perth.
Yeah.
Um,
Somewhere close to where I would know someone who maybe had to get you a plane or whatever. So somewhere close. And
So yeah, there. I
Close
mean,
to
there
an
are
airport would
travel
probably be-
agencies here.
right, yeah.
There's the private airport.
Cool.
But before heading out of the hotel, I'd like to just grab a local map so I could, if it gets separated, want to be able to traverse Perth in the vicinity easily.
Yeah, that's fairly easy to do.
I can
Very
mark
wise.
locations. I can mark some location, maybe even where tribes of not even in Perth, but just in general where some Aboriginal tribes are and some notable locations that I know of are. I don't know what they would be, but
Okay.
Do we know the firearm laws of 1926
Yes,
Australia?
all your
yes.
your guns when you enter the country are confiscated from you, and they held them. They forced you essentially to all buy permits.
Well, I already had a permit.
Oh
though.
yeah, okay, yeah, you are permitted. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's not that big of a deal. If they searched
Oh.
your bags and found them, then they would have just held them and buy a permit, and then you would have
Okay.
purchased a permit.
All right.
It's
Swear.
not-
when
I
I
was gonna
first
be like,
met
we just have no weapons.
you can't just
Yeah.
you can't be carrying them around populated areas. That's going to get you into trouble. But
Yeah, we're not holstered outside dangling.
my-
yeah, you're not walking around with a
My-
shotgun down the street.
Yeah.
You're going to be
my
fine.
Lee Enfield was in the back of my Jeep, so
Yeah, they don't care all that much if you're European.
If you're trying to save the world, it's okay.
It's
that's
okay.
fine. You get a pass.
I was thinking,
Gold sticker.
could we by
Saving the world
chance
sticker.
get two maps, and you can write your locations on one of them, but we'll keep the other map without any marks on it.
Yes, I have a few maps. I probably have a couple of maps on me anyway. I have my rambling map, and then I probably have a spare map.
All right. Well, I'll put the
Let
other
me-
map.
Let me
Put the other
let me
map
take a look
into
at
my.
your rambling map.
Oh, here's my rambling map. It's literally just got little random bits of nonsense that make no sense on it.
Is it a sand check to look at
No,
the wandering map?
I don't think so.
What was your
Yeah.
plan, Turtleton, with the maps?
Well, he could write all over one of them, but I want to keep the other one pristine, just in case.
For like a souvenir.
Yeah, so there's my rambling map. There's the one that I marked for Slayton, and then there's the clean one.
One never knows. I'll put this one where it won't get damaged.
You know, my mother always said to me to always wear clean underwear because you didn't want to be in an accident and then be caught in dirty underwear. So I totally get about having a clean map on you.
I think what you mean is that your mother occasionally said that to you. She didn't always say that to you.
Oh,
That would be a rather strange thing to say to you every single time she spoke with you. Unless you have a problem.
Does the hotel bedroom have a phone? Do we have a phone in our room?
This is a dingy ass motel, man.
Okay. Does the hotel have a phone number?
Did Australia have
Yeah.
phones?
You're lucky your hotel room has a bed.
in the 1920s.
It's all to talk to other cities. It's all over Telegram.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
lot of
so-
cities that
So the hotel
it's
doesn't
not.
have a phone?
They use carrier ravens.
Yeah.
No,
I don't-
a lot of it's rapidly expanding, so they're putting things like that in. But at this point,
Got it.
Might
Carry
be-
a kookaburra, mate.
It's probably the same thing. There's a phone down in the lobby, and if
There's
you
no
want,
lobby. We're in a shitty motel. Like,
Yes.
there's still
So
a place where they
there's-
have to take money, and
There's no
I think
phone
we're-
for the hotel?
I think we're parked in the lobby.
there'll be a phone at the
obtaining
university.
a phone to use is simple. You can. Who are you trying to contact?
Okay, so like if I was trying to call anyone at our room later, would there be a number to call for like the lobby?
You could reach the hotel.
Okay,
Welcome to Australia.
got it. I'll jot the phone number down, whatever it is, so I can call back, and I'll do it in code. Like, I'll jot the number down, one number preceding the actual number. So if it's like 123, I'll write down 012. Write that.
If you wanted decent phone lines, you should have gone to New Zealand.
I just, in case I get separated.
You can't go to places that are made up, Zane.
All right, I'm ready.
Fairy
You can't go to Narnia, you can't go to Middle Earth, and you can't go to New Zealand.
There are
Typically
no
those last
imaginary
two things are the same
locations in
place.
Call of Cthulhu.
Hillary.
Where is Old Zealand?
I think it's in Switzerland.
That's very interesting.
Well, thanks, Dom, for sharing the kangaroo there. It was delicious.
That's fine. Also, when you're back in my Jeep, don't mind the didgeridoo in the back.
But you know, Dom, shock absorbers have been standard issue on vehicles for the last 30 years. I think you really should invest in some.
I'm
circle
good.
back.
I am good. I get what I get from A to B. Nothing breaks on me some of the time.
All right, McCormick,
Okay.
I'm ready when you are.
All
All
right,
right. So we'll start with Slayton and Nobody on their quest to find a plane. So you're dropped off kind of in the center of town. As the others head on to the university.
So first thing me and Henry are going to do, because we're paranoid as hell, is we're going to do a quick survey around, see if there's anyone kind of taking a particular interest in the two of us. Probably we'd sit down at a local coffee shop or something and kind of have a drink and just sort of, make sure there's no one watching us before we do anything else.
Okay, give me a spot headed.
All right. That's going to be a 46.
23. That's a hard.
I got a regular.
Not a single soul cares that you're there.
Epic. That's what we wanted to hear.
People passing you on the street don't even give you a passing glance. Nobody.
All right.
Nobody.
So
cares.
once we've finished our drinks, we'll go and find the closest, as you say, travel agent, or at least try and work out where we'd be able to get a plane, charter a plane, hire a plane out and get supplies for for a trip to the outback.
Okay, so you find a nice, well-established travel agency. There's a secretary kind of seated at the front, and she perks up and she says, "Oh, can I help you, gentlemen?"
Yes,
Thank you.
we. How are you? We are travelers who are planning a trip out to the outback, and we are in need of a plane, and obviously some supplies for a group of 5 to go out.
Oh, well, depending on your needs, you kind of like, from her desk, she pulled out like a brochure.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, well, to hire one of our pilots to take you out into the desert, that's, as you can see here, this is kind of our wilderness package. We also offer ways to travel between the major cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit more luxurious and exhilarating than a boat trip. We'll get you there much faster.
Mm-hmm. How much without the pilot?
Yeah, like rent.
Without the pilot.
I'm a pilot. I have all my
And
licenses and forms and RAF.
One moment. And she stands up and she goes to a back office. And she returns. Kind of this older man. He's got little like Coke glasses, Coke bottle glasses, and kind of looks at you and he says, "So you're looking to? You want a plane and not a pilot?"
Yes, correct. I'm traveling with a group. They've hired me as their pilot, and so we're getting all the supplies and whatnot together for the trip out. It was just cheaper, we thought, to just hire the plane here instead of bringing one over from Old Blighty.
Give me both of you can give me a credit rating.
Sure, I'm 30, I think.
I'm 50.
Oh, 99.
19. I got 19 out of 50.
Okay, and now you can give me a persuade with no penalty because
Persuades 40.
he is taking you seriously.
13.
Like super dirt poor.
So that's a hard pass.
13. Okay. So he says, well, did I break up there for a second?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he asked how long you intend to charter a plane.
Ooh, look, Henry, what do you reckon? Being on the safe, how long would you say? If I've looked at the maps and things, for a trip out, we're thinking about using Port Hedland as our base, and then going out into the outback ever so often. Do you reckon a week is enough time to sort of do that and do a proper? I'm sure you've heard of Octavius Fox. He's quite a well-known man from New York. He's a philanthropist.
Can't say I have. Sorry.
Well, it's he's charting the expedition. He's we're kind of doing the pre-setup out there before he and his folks travel over. They're coming from the what's the name of that the university they're all working for, Henry? Starts with an M.
Oh yeah, Miskatonic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all through them.
For also my cash on hand, I'll just sort of within sight, but sort of try to keep it hidden. I'm gonna thumb through a small stack of 50s.
Look, if you're serious about having a plane for a long period of time, we have some older models that we're looking to get rid of. If you're interested in purchasing one, that could be arranged.
Yeah.
I would not feel comfortable with signing a lengthy contract.
Totally appreciate that.
Of such an open-ended nature.
Yeah.
You must understand.
So of course, what are we talking about with the ones for purchase? You said they're a bit older. We need enough space for at least 5 passengers and all the cargo and so on and so forth.
Well, these are all older mail-carrying planes. They should be able to fit your passengers just fine, but any serious equipment, you need more than one. But I'm sure you already knew that.
Yeah. So what are we talking price-wise?
A lot, but you have the funds that Jackson and I set up at disposal, so it's not a problem for you to purchase a plane.
All right.
So the rest of your day is going to be pretty much spent wiring to New York and then wiring back and getting banks. So,
and then, as you say, going and collecting all the. I would have got Dom to write me a list of, and probably George, to be honest, a list of things that we would need to survive the outback, so like tents and food, that kind of stuff, so I can make sure we were well stocked up.
Yeah, I would have definitely
Dynamite.
because
Blasting caps.
Flash caps.
I tend to I have camped out there and obviously lived with some of
Yeah,
the
so I would have had
tribes,
you
so-
write me.
So yeah, so you guys
blood list.
get yourselves prepared. So Dom, George, and Turtleton, what are you up to at the university?
I was reading the library. No.
Here we are.
All right. Well, we wanted to see if we could find anything on the myth of the rainbow serpent and the sand bat.
Okay, can I get a library use?
Sure. Oh,
Yes, I'll be looking as well to help Mandrake.
I failed. These perfume books are not quite what I expected.
I got 50 on 50 for library use. So.
Okay, so
If you gentlemen can give me a location, I can go look at geographical features of the area.
what this boils down to is you find plenty of stuff about this rainbow serpent. It's an aboriginal god of life. There's plenty of folklore and kind of myth books, textbooks, those sorts of things about aboriginal culture. As far as the sand bat is concerned, you can only find a passing reference to a book, a textbook that was written by Professor Anthony Cowles of Sydney University, of the obscure myths of the Aborigine people, but they don't have any.
Does he mention where this legend comes from?
No. So, well, in any reference
Researches.
material that you can find, it's not mentioned. The sandbat's not mentioned. The book, this little book that's mentioned that this university has, they don't have any copies for you to look through. You can find it in their card catalog, but your library use wasn't good enough to find an actual thing that they have.
Yeah,
Peruse
I
here.
apologize, Mandrake. It's not the best. I could have probably told you a little bit about the rainbow. Anyway,
everything that you can find, you already know, Dom.
Far more
Yeah.
interested in the sand bat stuff.
well, we could go speak to a tribe. I know
all right. I mean, that's probably what we should do. We should research and see the names of the tribes, where they are located, if they've got any books like that.
I can help with that.
I know a local one. I don't know whereabouts locally, but I would assume I know a local one.
The issue that you're going to run into is the recently, at this time in Australia, they are all over the place, splitting people up.
Oh, they're being moved. And stuff.
It's a mess. So Dom, even if you find a reservation, there's no guarantee that people are from a given region there.
Right. All right.
It's quite sad, actually, what happened to them, but that's the state it is at this point.
So, in true library fashion, I'm going to do. I intend to spend a few hours here at least. What I'm looking for is books on the occult, books on cults, books on whatever, witchcraft and so forth. And what I'm really looking for is if the books are missing, but they're mentioned in the card catalog. Because I have a feeling that something is going on, and I want to know which books have been taken out by the people who've taken them out that are dangerous, rare books.
Okay, so what you find is this university doesn't have like a restricted collection like Miskatonic does,
I thought.
and all of their like occult books are accounted for.
So nothing unusual. All right. Well, then this has been a lost cause. I wonder if there's any professors at the university who
No,
might be
there are no
worth
professors
talking
at the university.
to. No.
No,
So-
there-
no. I mean, there are professors that might be worth talking to. Domingo. Oh, he's not. Are you here?
Yeah, he went with you.
Yes, I'm with you. That's the reason I'm with you, because I.
You know any
probably come and
folklore
gone in it.
professors maybe that know something about the bat?
Well, I must have, our character, I must have spoken to at least one or two when I first arrived in Australia, so I assume.
If you're looking for Aboriginal folklore at the University of Western Australia, your go-to person is Dr. E.M. Boyle.
Okay.
Yes,
Let's-
Dr. Boyle, he helped me when I first arrived, so.
Let's see if we can get a talk to him if he's here today.
So you can catch him. You can look at the class schedules; they're posted, and you can catch him after a lecture.
Okay.
So
Well, that's what
he's-
I'd like to do. Next
Okay.
available moment.
So in like an hour, students start exiting this lecture hall, and you can find him. He's kind of at the bottom, down the steps, kind of talking with a few students.
Professor Boyle.
Yes.
Hello. I'm Mandrick Turtleton. I just arrived from England a few days ago. This is my associate, Mr. Cabrera. Domingo
Oh
Cabrera.
yes, yes, Domingo. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yes. How was your latest trip into the outback?
It was okay. It's getting a bit bare. They're moving them around a bit more. You know what it's.
Yes.
Out. It's very sad, and I'm trying my best to help where I can. But
Well, I mean, they kicked all those people to the desert, and then they decided that desert was too nice, so they're kicking them off to even worse desert.
yeah, I know.
Professor Boyle, I've traveled all this way. I'm doing a folklore research, the same as our friend here. I recently ran across a book by Professor Anthony Cowles. You may be familiar with it.
Yes, the University of Sydney.
Yes. Do you know anything more than what the book gives us on this cult of the sandbat?
Well, and the students kind of like are very interested in this conversation. The cult of the sandbat is a rather debated topic amongst us folks who study the Aborigine people and their folklore. It's any material on the subject is rather esoteric. Very little is known about them. There have been various revivals of this small cult. It's always been very small, never any serious portion of the native population. Mild fears. They were not pleasant neighbors. Well, anybody that conducts human sacrifices, I can assure you, is not a pleasant neighbor.
So you can confirm
to have.
that they in fact have human sacrifice.
Yes, that is what. Well, they had human sacrifices when they were around. I like to keep history in its place in the past. Such a group doesn't exist today.
Well, perhaps. I mean, that's also what they said about the Thuggee cult in India. Turns out it did have people existing, but it's not really that important. So you would say they are violent if they are encountered.
Yeah, if you were to encounter one, I suppose they wouldn't be the most welcoming chaps.
So What is their? What's the impetus of the cult? Are they waiting for the end of the world? Are they trying to summon their god?
Well, no. They were doing no such thing. They were, I mean, part of the problem you'll find, sir, of finding any modern day worshippers is, I mean, part of that belief is that their god was banished to the ocean, somewhere off in the Pacific,
And that
by the rainbow serpent. In fact, banished it, and it's been sleeping under the sea ever since.
but they choose to worship that particular thing because they want to bring him back.
No. The worship of the sand bat vanished.
I see.
If that makes sense. It was not. There was when it supposedly roamed the earth free, was when its cult flourished the most. But since its supposed banishment, any worshippers it has kind of have dwindled to utter disappearance, as far as I'm aware. To use your terminology, if we're going to consider the possibility of a modern continuation of this cult. But if there was such a thing, I would imagine it's very small, no more than a handful of individuals at most.
On the other hand, worship of the rainbow serpent.
Well, that's very common. I mean, it is their life god. It is what gave life to us all, and the creator.
Right.
Yes, most people know about that. Anyone studying the basic folklore around these parts will know about that. So,
well, it's not unusual for any folklore. You've got
Isis of Egypt.
yes,
the creator throws the bad guy into the ocean or the prison, or
banished, or proposed banishment of future banishment. Yes, the devil to hell, casts off and so forth. It's a very common thing in myth.
Yes, and then when you get to the more obscure things like the sand bat or whatever,
yes,
that's where you get further.
Yes, unfortunately, once again, there's very few. There's no classes here that touch on the subject. We have a textbook or two here that was written and published by Cowles himself.
Yes.
They must, if you couldn't find them in the library, they must be in the hands of students, folklore students wanting to do extra reading.
Is there any speculation as to where this cult originates or where it originally was?
Well, if you're very serious about this line of inquiry, as I assume you are, you came all the way here from England.
I don't want to take a lot of your time. If
well, I would. It's no trouble at all. I mean, this is my field of study. I love to talk about this. I love to teach it. My only regret, sir, is that my depth of knowledge, I'm not comfortable to. I would be uncomfortable discussing this in depth with you because I just don't have the right knowledge. If you happen to have a few days to spare, a quick trip over to Sydney, spend a few days there, I'm sure Professor Cowles can talk your ear off about the subject.
Well, I was planning on that, actually, yes.
Here, I'll write a letter of introduction for you. That should help.
That would be amazing. Thank you very much.
If you can't get a hold of him, because I know he's done some traveling in the States this year, you might be able to meet his associate, David Dodge, Professor David Dodge, over there, if Cowles is still absent. Or, I mean, if both of them together, they're both very, the two of them together know the most about the subject, and I think anybody else alive about the sandbat of yours.
Excellent. I certainly hope that I don't end up going there and finding out that he's in Massachusetts, and I've come all this way.
Oh, you're not from, well, I can tell by your accent, you're from the States, but...
yes, I was
Miskatonic. Yes, he went to Miskatonic University. Yes, if you traveled all this way and missed him back in Arkham, is it?
It'd be rather ironic, yes, indeed.
Yes, I the 2 years I've been here, I've always wanted to meet the man. I just haven't found the time. So it's
Yes, well,
I didn't really plan out my itinerary very well.
Also, Dr. Boyle, I do have the you know that I went to that crater, Wolf Creek. I have the notes for you that that we were talking about last time I was here. I thought I would show you.
Well, that would be splendid. Absolutely splendid.
And we can catch up as well before me and my companion moves on. So, yes.
Okay, so you catch up. You kind of talk about some things that you've taken.
We've been very helpful. Thank you very much.
Oh well, I'm sorry I couldn't be much of any further assistance. Though perhaps I could show you one thing. If you would accompany me to my office.
Of course.
Yes.
And you know, if you're ever in the United States, in Arkham, I'd be glad to show you around the university.
Oh, that'd be much appreciated. I'd love to go back over to the States. But, you know, my hands have been tied here for so long. I don't even remember what a vacation would be like.
Yes.
But so he takes you back to his office. And he shows you he has a couple of artifacts and things, and he shows you this this is their symbol of that old cult. You can see it looks like a circle with like two little wings coming off of it.
Like a bat.
Like a bat. It's very, very simple in design, very simplistic. But this is the best I can do. This is all I have.
Well, that's good. No, if we run across the symbol, we'll know what it is.
Well, Mr. Turtleton, it was a pleasure meeting you. And Dom, as always, good luck on your continued endeavors.
Yes, I will bring back, as I've been doing every time, I'll bring back some more notes and news on the people if I am trying my best to help, but you know what it's like.
Yes, indeed. Well, I appreciate your efforts.
I feel like I'm trapped here now.
Yeah, the place has a... You may be from Spain, Cabrera, but you're a true Australian at heart.
Yes, I guess I am.
All right, so we leave, and as we're leaving, I turn to Dom and I say, I'm very sorry you had to see that. I don't normally lie, but I've had my itinerary planned for months, and I followed it exactly.
Turtleton,
I feel better that's off my chest.
You do not need to worry, my friend. And I put my grubby, dirty hands on your shoulder. Because obviously he's outdoorsman. And he's like, don't you worry.
No, I won't. Not at all.
Then off in the library, George looks up from his, the maps and stuff that he's looking at as he hears an unearthly shriek.
Oh, that would be far too. I'm fine.
We should get a drink or a bite to eat, maybe.
Did you find anything in Australia? You were looking at the maps.
Yeah, so just library use for local geography, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Get a lay of the land. Ooh, okay, that's reasonably good. Okay, normal success.
Okay, so focusing your efforts on Western Australia, there are several notable landmarks. Plateaus, basins, rivers, things inland that you would be able to recognize that would help in future navigational efforts.
Cool.
So as far as any like nitty gritty detail about small scale things, you haven't really dedicated enough time for that. But as far as
and I didn't get any specifics from the other guys. So
yeah, so large. I mean, so general geography of Western Australia, that's known. I mean, a lot of it's not mapped. But what is there, you could recognize large scale geographic features.
cool.
And unless anybody's planning on any other excursions, we can have the 5 of you meet back up in the evening after the plane purchase being processed has been completed.
Hey, George. Gentlemen.
Well,
Hello.
gents, we've got the plane all sorted. It's all
Did you get the
stocked up and everything.
supplies?
Sorry?
All the supply? Did you get all the supplies? Everything on the list?
Yeah, we followed everything on the list, and we've got it all. There's plenty of room for all of us. As it turned out, it just ended up being a better option for us just to buy the plane. So it's ours now.
Let's hope it doesn't break down in the sky.
Well, I assume that you know not only how to fly a plane, but how to repair one.
Yes, and I've got the basic skills of needing mechanics and stuff like that, so I can fix this or some minor situations. But if an engine blows up, then no, that's not something that I can fix on the.
You have checked over the plane,
can-
right?
Yes, you've checked it over, yes?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we did. The plane's in fully working. Like, we wouldn't have purchased it if it wasn't.
Yeah. We
like,
kicked the
fully-
tires.
Yeah.
Are you
Seemed pretty
100%? Are you 100% sure? Because I am
Yes,
not
I would not
getting
have.
those.
I would not have purchased the plane if I didn't think it was up for what we were wanting to do. Because I
Oh,
also
Don't worry, Dom. I
also
can go
kept
over
them
it
up.
too. Another pair of eyes never hurts.
Exactly.
That's why I
I'd be
stick
more
to
than
my
happy to.
Jeep. I'm not a fan of the sky.
I hear
Probably
you.
look at your Jeep too. Maybe fix those back struts.
My
Well,
Jeep
on our
is
way
perfectly
back-
fine.
Definitely keeping an eye out, making sure we're not being followed. Not going to let that happen again.
Give me a spot hidden.
04. Double.
Yeah, no one's there. No one's following you.
How did you gentlemen fare at the university?
We're going on a trip to Sydney, I guess, tomorrow.
I didn't know much more than we already knew, so yes. Well, not
Sydney?
necessarily tomorrow, but
Well,
isn't that
whenever.
all the way on the other side of the country?
Yes.
Well,
It'll take a
we
while. yes.
can get there quicker now. We've got a plane.
Right. I imagine it's still going to take a few hours
That's
flying.
like, what, 1,000 miles?
Yeah.
It'll take.
We need to wrap up anything that we need to do here. We were thinking maybe of speaking to some of the local Aborigine.
Yes, I know of a couple of locations where some were last seen, but I can't. They should all know the basic. They should all know the sign language, but my actual speaking to them might depend on which tribe they're from.
Don't most of them speak English now, or no?
Was the shipping company from New York? Did they have any involvement with Australia at all?
No.
No.
Not that you're aware of.
Yes, but the older members of the tribe who will probably know more, most likely will refuse to speak English.
What was our connection to Australia?
You saw, so beyond Anthony Cowles, who was spoken to back in New York, Jackson Elias was interested in the Sandbat cult, wondering if it was connected to everything else. He never
we saw
went
the
to
gem.
Australia,
We saw the
but
gem
you
in
saw
the
a
wall.
gem
Right.
in the temple of Nyarlathotep in Egypt on the wall. There's a big map of the world, and there was a gem in Kenya, there was a gem in Shanghai, and there was a gem in Western Australia.
Keep in mind, we could look into this. Was it Arthur McWare guy.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the name that Jackson has.
Well, hopefully, if we actually get to Sydney, I can speak to Mr. Cowles directly and see what he knows.
Okay.
Perhaps he can
Yes,
point us in the right direction. If not him, his assistant David Dodge.
Well,
I
as you
definitely
said,
have to
we can look at
accompany you.
we can look
for
at the
that.
Aboriginals and stuff like that. While we're doing that, I can chart a route for us to get to Sydney, no problem.
Oh, now we
I-
did see a symbol associated with the sand bat, and I draw it for them and show it to
Yes.
them. So
Nobody.
if you see this pattern, know that we're getting close.
Yes. Nobody. I have one area that you should avoid definitely on flight plans. It's a place called Wolf Creek. It's on your map. It's a very strange place. Any air traffic tends to go a bit dodgy around there, almost malfunctions. Something hit it many years ago. People say a meteorite. Some of the locals say a wolf's foot came down and left a crater there. But it causes some anomalies with.
I've heard weirder things. That's fine. We'll, as you say, if it's on the map, I'll
I can
make
mark
we
it
avoid
for you.
Yeah.
I recently have been there.
Would that be in the region that I familiarized myself with?
Well, I don't know if Morgan will know what Wolf Creek is.
No, I haven't read the Terra's Australis.
Is it
source
on
book,
the west side of the country?
It's on the east side. It's kind of in the middle.
So it's not where you studied, and
Okay,
it's not
okay.
going to interfere with your
Flight
the
plan.
trip to
Right.
Sydney.
Well, I reckon it'll be about a 12-hour flight.
That's rather grueling.
Well, you'll be fine. You're just sitting in the back.
Don't worry, we can always take turns flying.
No, we can't, actually, funnily enough.
It was a joke, Mr. Nobody.
I've seen too much death to joke anymore.
Let the Cabrera fly the plane. Nothing bad will ever happen.
Yeah.
I am the
It's
lucky
not gonna
one,
happen.
you see.
All right, so we want to go talk to some local tribes tomorrow, and
Yes.
then fly out the day after.
Well,
That sounds like
plane's a pretty heavy piece of equipment, right?
Yes, it tends to be, and it's now full
Would
of.
you say I could operate it like a
It's
heavy
heavy machinery.
machine?
No.
You need a pilot.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 1 point in pilot.
How
I have
much
a
luck
whole-
do you have left?
I have a whole 2 points.
I ain't a pilot, but I play one on TV.
Same basic principle. So the next day, you can go. Cabrera, you have a rapport with the local tribesmen of the area. I'm just going to need to have you make a language use roll.
Does it matter if it's spoken or the sign? Well, they're both the same score on my sheet.
Either
so
one works.
Perhaps you can play your didgeridoo here.
Why don't you give it a blow, Mandrake?
My
I don't know how to do this thing.
goodness.
You just blow in it. You can do it.
No. It
You'll
sounds
get the
like
hang of it over time.
somebody-
I got 58 out of 60, so that's a success.
So the oldest members of the community, they know of the sandbat as one of the enemies that were defeated by the rainbow serpent. there are stories of, naughty children being abducted and being bitten by bats until they died. So, behave yourself type of things. And so there are legends of, tribes buried deep in the desert that had people killed. Basically with, they describe these kind of little clubs that have bat teeth in them that they beat people with. And so the bodies end up being bloated and infected and covered with lots of little holes everywhere. But once again, this is all legend and anecdotes. They don't have any, there's no recent things that match any description like this. It's all just, wives' tales.
Any specific part in, because it's a big place out there.
Yeah, well, it's a Western. I mean, it's definitely a Western Australia tribal. So it stretches. So it's mostly in Western Australia. There's more information from people that have come from Eastern Australia, over by where supposedly the sandbat was cast into the sea. People from that region also kind of know of that legend. How the sandbat has been imprisoned under the ocean where he sleeps. But that's it. They don't. They couldn't point you to anywhere specific where things are happening.
I'm sorry, Mandrake. I don't know how useful that will have been for you.
So now, Mandrake, you can give me a Cthulhu mythos roll.
35, not close.
No? Okay. All right. Yeah, that's all they have to tell.
Yeah, sorry, gentlemen. I just the basic legends and stuff.
We'll have to just do the research by doing the research physically.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's useful. There could be truth based in the myth, so it's all good stuff to know. As we said, our group has very much learned the hard way that rushing into these sorts of things without doing the research winds up with bloodshed on both sides.
Well, that's the thing. We could try to locate where the sandbat could have been banished to. That could.
The sandbat's not pleased. The sandbat's right behind you the whole time.
Don't say it again.
Speak of the sandbat and he shall appear.
Dom's head just blows up in front of him.
Well,
a red dot appears.
Another Cabrera goes.
Yeah.
But it was quick and merciful this time, so he was the lucky Cabrera.
No, I am still alive.
Well, I think that still sounds a little bit dodgy to me, as I said, is rushing into where we know there's potentially going to be some danger. I think best bet is Mandrake said, heading up to Sydney and doing as much research we possibly can.
Yeah. But if we could locate the location, we don't have to go to the location, but we at least
we know from the article that we were given by from, I believe it was from Jackson's writing, Port Hedland and this Arthur McWare gentleman was the place where is worth looking into.
Yes, well, we have bits of inquiries, and I would like to speak to the professor in Sydney, because he is a man that I have wanted to speak to ever since I got here, but I just haven't found the time. So that will be interesting if he is available.
You guys are going to fly over to Sydney?
Yes, and the next day we'll get up and head off to the airport and fly out.
Okay. So his question is, we are at 2 hours, but then again, I had that time out of the middle. So if you guys
Yeah,
want
you
to
had
play for a
about
bit,
20 minutes.
okay, so we can play for a bit longer. That's good. So arriving and then resting. We'll move on to the 4th. This is June 4th.
It always worries me how much he's like.
How close I keep track of things. That's weird. Huh?
Yeah, of the dates. I'm like, this guy. Something's happening on the
Does
7th.
it worry you?
One can deduce from that there is an event that is coming
Oh,
up
100%.
on a particular day.
We
But
know
we're
it
not aware
coincides
of
with
yet.
the moon.
It's
Most
Dom's death
likely.
day. That's what it is.
When is the next full moon?
Actually, you know what I was going to say? My character would probably have an almanac. And
So the next new moon is on the 21st of June.
Oh, we've got a bit of time then. This isn't like Africa where we had like 3 days.
So, arriving in Sydney, among the papers that you've been accumulating this entire time since your time in New York, you were given an address. Professor Cowles at first given to Fox and Company. If you are going to Australia, you might find me here. So you do have his address, which is within walking distance of the University of Sydney.
Well, that's perhaps a bit inappropriate. We'll go to the university first and see if he's in town.
So with a
go
quick,
through the proper channels.
So the university can inform you that he is still presently in Arkham, Massachusetts. He's set to return in October.
I'd say, Dom, that I'm the unlucky one.
The other...
David Dodge, Professor
David Dodge is here.
Okay. Can we make an appointment to see him, please?
Oh, most certainly.
Today or tomorrow?
Well, you could go check with him himself.
If that's all right.
Oh, there shouldn't be any bother.
Yes, thank you.
And so you go and you find the office of David Dodge. He's a bit of an older man.
Before we bother him, what do we want to ask him? We're just going to get more information about the bat, where the cult is located,
and anything about Arthur McWare and the Port Hedland. Going through the document that we had, there were enormous black stones, pitted and eroded, but clearly dressed and formed by something.
This was
gem
part
carvings. Yeah, this was all part of the thing. This was found in Port Hedland.
All right,
by Arthur McWare. So
we got some questions to ask him. Then, all right, we'll see him.
Do we have any documentation indicating that the next new moon or full moon is important at all?
No,
it has been every other time there's been a full moon. We've had cults trying to do stuff on.
It's very likely that cults or even religions put great significance on full moon, new moon.
Agreed. I just don't want to assume and then line up for a specific date and we be wrong.
Oh, no, what I'm saying is every time there's been a full moon, we know there's been significant events that have happened in every single place we've been.
Right, we should check them all.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to do while we're in Sydney is pick up a newspaper and see if there's anything about Hypatia Masters returning to New York.
We can do that. So the world has been abuzz about the return of Hypatia Masters.
Yeah.
When did this happen? Oh, of course. Of course. I was traveling at the time. You didn't tell me this part.
And she...
That ain't Hypatia.
She's been in no rush to get home to the States, being bottled up in Africa. she's kind of developed a bit of a wanderlust, and so she is per current kind of tabloids put her whereabouts in the vicinity of Shanghai.
That's
Dear
not
God.
unsurprising. Is that where the sighting was of Jack?
Yeah, Brady.
Right.
Now, I do speak a little Mandarin and even less Cantonese, but I'm working on it. I've been studying.
Well, that's good. You've got more time to study that before we get to. We've got to sort with the Australian stuff. Do you speak in any Aussie?
I might.
All right, that's perfect.
Good day.
G'day. All right.
Good day.
Oh, bloody quick! It's a dingo with a baby. Hey?
It's a bonny copper, mate.
Oh yeah.
Vegemite?
Yeah, that's Vegemite. Yeah, it's Australian. All right, so we've got Hypatia's, as you say, she's off to Shanghai. We know she's not Hypatia, but at least because it's such a big deal that she's returned, we can keep probably pretty good tabs on her.
And it's one of the 3 places that you've listed on that you saw in Egypt.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'd be willing to bet that whatever big thing is planned is going to happen in China.
Yeah, I think you're right, George, because that was the last place that there was the gem that we haven't been. I mean, so how's building that nuclear bomb going, Henry? Is that coming along okay?
The which though.
We've contacted the people in Afghanistan trying to get some plutonium, did you call it?
Plutonium, yeah.
It's hard to come by.
All right, so let's go, I guess, have this meeting with
Yes, Professor David Dodge.
Yes.
So you find him in his office, which Turtleton, to your dismay, is rather unorderly. Unorganized is a very polite way of calling it.
Well, it's not too obtrusive. As I'm speaking to them, I'll simply move this here, this over here, and then get out my measuring tape.
Professor Dodge, nice to meet you.
Yes. Can I help you, gentlemen?
I am Professor Domingo Cabrera, and this is Manjack Turtleton, and who else is in the room with us right now?
all of us.
Yeah, I'd be around.
This is George, Charles, Henry Slayton, and Captain McCormick.
Oh, well, what can I do for you all?
We've traveled here for doing some research. Very interested in Professor Cowell's book on the sandbat.
Ah, yes. No, I'm sure if you've come this way, you've been informed that he's currently in the States.
It is actually right where I came from.
Oh,
I can't
really?
believe it. Yes. Ridiculous. But I was told that you're his assistant and you know a great deal as well. We were hoping, we'd heard something about, what was it you said to Captain McCormick, something about some old ruins with markings on them? Captain?
Yes. This article we have, not article, this writing came from an associate of ours, and it was talking about a set of 4 overexposed glass slides. Each
Yes.
yeah.
Cowell should have those with him. He uses it in his lectures.
Right.
That's not really sure how it connects to the sandbat. That's kind of that's a separate myth cycle.
Perhaps
he's currently doing research into perhaps there's a connection there. We're not quite entirely sure.
But that was seen in Port Hedland, correct?
No. No, you go into Port Hedland, you wouldn't find anything like that. No, that was found by an Arthur McWhirr, who took those photographs and came into our possession after the fact.
Oh, well, perhaps that's not. We were more interested in the sand bat.
And this Arthur McWhirr is. So you said he was the one that brought you these images?
No, a friend of his did.
Right.
McWhirr has passed on.
Oh.
And what was his friend's name?
Robert McKenzie.
And where's he based?
Port Hedland.
This is what happens when you travel and you don't get information on a regular basis.
Do you know by any chance where McWhirr did take the photos?
Well, we have some things of his. Professor Cowell left with me. They're at his residence. I'd have to go get them. If you gentlemen don't mind a bit of a wait.
Of course not. We're not in any hurry. That would be very interesting.
Okay.
Would you like us to accompany you if that would be easier?
Well, I mean, I don't see the harm in that. And he's looking over. I mean, if Boyle over there in Perth vouches for you, and he kind of gestures to the letter of introduction, then I have no problem. You're friends of mine. So it's as I've said before, the address that Cowles had given long ago. It's within walking distance of the university.
And we chit chat and we try to make him feel at ease, and we try to,
Mm-hmm. And he's very friendly.
Make him drop his guard so that I can. No.
So he brings you back to Cal's residence, and kind of has you seats you at a table in the dining room, and he goes to his study and he brings back this little booklet, like 4 inches by 6 inches, and he says this along with the slides. This is what we have. There's it's from this that we're trying to draw a connection between the slides and this sand bat. And this see, restarting my computer. I had this pulled up, and now it's no longer giving me.
I'm not particularly familiar with the slides. Could you give me a brief description of what they show?
Oh, they're.
I understand they're overexposed, but
they're a series of ruins found out in the desert. Very, very strange. Whoever a unique culture must have been responsible. The age is interesting of it here.
Are there petroglyphs carved into them, or?
It's really hard to say.
Or is it the construction that marks it as decidedly man-made?
In Jackson's writings, he said there was dim carvings seemed to decorate some of the billows of sand and everywhere.
Yeah, so the carvings and the sheer scale of the construction.
What kind of
interesting.
What kind of scale are we talking about?
Well, let's to put it lightly, we're impressed that any primitive culture was able to move such large blocks of stone.
Well, I mean, Stonehenge was is a constructed thing.
We're talking colossal blocks.
Talking pyramids?
Larger than any of the stones used in Incan construction in South America, and at a date much older than.
Really?
That sounds like an interesting archaeological find all by itself.
Yes, quite so.
Have
He-
have you been planning an expedition?
Well, I would hate to go on such an expedition without Cal.
When
You
Oh,
must
did
understand.
when did McWare pass, and when did he find these images? When?
Oh, these 1920.
So it's been a few years then since this discovery, and there's
Yes,
not been an
well,
expedition.
since the discovery, of course, we didn't have these this entire time.
Right.
This is part of. This is kind of what spurred this most recent lecture circuit.
Right, to get funding.
Are you
Uh,
expecting Cal back anytime soon?
1921, and yes, Cal will be back in October.
Oh, October.
But here, and he shows you the journal.
oh.
Okay. March 7th, Jack Kubarak says that Aboriginals are following us the most unusual, if true. They have every reason to fear guns and our bushranger prediction for using them. In the past, I've always known them to head the other way as soon as they see white men.
That was
My-
predilection.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I did not see that. Yes, very good. March 21st, we are about equal distant from Joanna Spring? Yeah, Joanna. And separation well? Yeah?
It's in
Yeah.
place. Separation well.
Yes. East of an airfield line of dry lakes. The heat is terrible. Our hopes are low. There's nothing here, certainly not quartz reefs. Today we sighted several enormous birds flying lazily far above us. How did they get here? And where can they be going? March 22nd. At noon today we found Jack partly buried in a gully. His body was scoured and covered with hundreds of small punctures, as though someone had sandblasted him. We buried him, of course. I shall miss his counsel. March 23rd, 20 degrees 14 south by 125 east, Great Sandy Desert. Have discovered what appears to be remnants of an ancient city rising from the shifting sands. I believe I have secured several good photographs of this amazing find, though the heat has ruined all but 6 of my photographic plates. By the pitting of the stone, the blocks and pillars appear to be more than 10,000 years old. Incredible.
Is that possible?
March 24th. 4 camels killed in the attack last night. I saw at least 2 men, and more must have been skulking out there. I'm sure I hit one. That ends this trip. We'll have to head back to Kunkukuri and report this incident. More than men were out there last night. I saw shapes much bigger than men during this attack. My evidence is the body of old Sam the camel, punctured and scraped, is the best way I can describe the remains, just like poor Jack. Since the attack lasted only a couple of minutes, it's hard for me to believe that anything human could have done so much damage so quickly. But then what was it? Yes, indeed, what was it? May 15th. I've told Robert Mackenzie about the city. Together we aim to return and undertake a full survey. When he saw the photographic plates, he was flabbergasted, now as keen as mustard to work with me to realize the discovery. How strange.
It sounds like insect bites.
Yes,
Sounds
very
like
strange.
it sounds like the club with the
Yes.
bat's teeth.
Punctures and
Yes,
slashes.
it does.
That's
So
correct.
to me, that's well, look, I'm not a scholar in any shape or form, but to me that sounds like enough connection with that sandback cult of yours, with these the ruins that McWeir found.
So there may be a connection, yes, between the ruins and the growing.
Yes, the ruins are generally considered part of a separate myth cycle of a city of the gods that has been buried beneath the desert after they were struck down by a great wind.
Sorry, say that last bit again.
The city built by the gods, they were struck down by a great wind that destroyed them all.
Do any of the stories extrapolate on what this great wind was that struck it down?
Wings of the sandbat, perhaps?
Perhaps.
Yes.
Perhaps.
Was it a black wind by any chance?
Well,
No, that's Africa.
I've
No,
not
but I'm
heard of any
saying
such
connections.
description to it. But it's very interesting. I mean, as part of our studies into the obscure folklore of Australia, that's just kind of come to our attention. And if we can link the two, you see, then that'd be a great leap in this field, or if determined that they are in fact entirely unconnected.
Would you be opposed to us possibly going and looking into this and obviously giving all notes to of anything we find to you and Professor Cowles?
Well, my only request would be to go involve Mr. Robert Mackenzie in this. I'm sure he'd be quite interested in following the footsteps of his friends, and I would love to come with you.
Really?
We'd probably have the room for both of you on the plane. So, I mean, look at how do the rest of you feel about having Dodge and what was his name again? Sorry,
Robert Mackenzie.
Robert Mackenzie accompany
So
us.
that brings our total to 7 in the plane. Can it accommodate the weight?
I think that we should discuss it, but possibly yes.
Yes, I think
And
so.
this group that we just read the journal about, they went out with how many people?
Well, they're miners. You must understand. Robert Mackenzie's a mining engineer. So Arthur McWhirr was not an anthropologist or an academic man at all. He was just out there looking for quartz to mine, and he stumbled across this great discovery. So
the journal and
these
slides were all discovered.
A small party.
The journal and all these slides, they were just found.
No. He brought them back.
And then passed away.
Yes, but he passed.
Right.
Mining engineer.
How did he pass away?
I'm not sure of the details. But Mackenzie didn't discuss it much.
Yeah, he might.
One minute he was alive, and the next minute he was not so alive.
Yes, I think that's how it works for everyone.
Well,
eventually.
You've been very helpful. We'll contact you tonight or tomorrow. Tell you what our plans are.
Oh, certainly.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you all.
Indeed.
I wish you best of luck on all your endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. George, mining engineer. You might get that dynamite after all.
Yeah, we might be able to get some off.
If only. I don't
Where is
relish
Mackenzie
the
based? He's in Port Hedland.
Yeah. I don't relish the idea of destroying 10,000-year-old ruins, though.
Well, the other thing that it may be me being over cautious and things, but it seems strange to me that this guy found this structure out in the desert, finds all these bodies killed and what sounds like the method that this cult used, came back and he's just passed away conveniently. I think there could be some stuff going on there. So let's get some sleep tonight and then decide what we're going to do when we get up in the
Yep.
morning.
Okay, so your deliberations on the additions to the party, and we'll wait until next week.
Yeah.
Excellent. Our players included Zane Fleming, Brian Daly, Stuart Lively, Josh Harwood, and myself, with Morgan Llewellyn as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game master. There's a link below. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows, free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We have a new patron. Leslie Schaefer has pledged $5 a month. Thank you so much, Leslie. If you would also like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 to a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another journey into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck. Good game.